Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is your favorite series, your favorite episode for tonight. This is Mark Remi, your host for the first class series. In case it's your first time of joining us here, I'm so excited for this particular episode. As you can see, everything is taking a new shape, in fact. And I have a guest in our midst. She's gonna wow you. She's elegant. She's very sharp, I can tell you. All right, and of course, today's topic is going to also wow you. And here with me, okay, so hi. All right, so please tell us your name and what school you are in.
Okay, my name is Tijani Olarimelekun Basira. Okay, I'm a student of Imiridian University, 100 level.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Wow, so we are so glad to have. I know my audience, they are so glad to have you, Remi. The short form is Remi. Don't mind
Remi.
It's Remi. Okay, so as I told you earlier, we're going to have a very great time. In case this is your first time of coming to this very channel or this program, this is again the first class series. You can go back to the YouTube channel and check the previous videos. Today's topic is overcoming school challenges or overcoming challenges in school. So if you are a prospective student trying to write JAM or aptitude tests, or you are just aspiring to go to the university, or you're already in the university, this is for you. This is the best place for you. And if you are done with school, probably this is not for you. You might want to just keep scrolling, but just share to somebody who might want to benefit. All right. Okay, so we are just going to have a great discussion. We have a lot of interesting things about school, the challenges we have faced and I have faced. Now what we'll do is, if you have any question, you are going to ask me, but I'm going to ask you first. Now, the reason for this program is to encourage people who are thinking of going to school, who are discouraged of whether they should finish. If you're in school and you're having some discouragement, this particular one should encourage you, right? And if you're somebody who has been told that school is a scam, I don't want to go to school, the aim is to make you feel, to make them feel like they like school, to make them like school, and those who are in school to make sure that they finish with a good grade. All right. So now, Remi, have you been following this series? Have you been following me?
Yes, I have.
You have, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So yeah, I know you have been following me. So just to know that she's a big fan of this speech. All right. Okay. So now, have you had any regrets so far since you entered school? I know you've not been long in school, but there are reactions when you get to school. So far, have you had some regrets? Something that within this short period you thought I would have done better?
Yes.
Okay.
I've had. Okay, let me say, before I came back, before we closed for the session before we came for the Christmas break, okay, we had this CA test, like just normal CBT test. Okay, before I wrote the test, okay, I prepared, I read. So when I wrote my first test, that was chemistry, it was not good. Like, okay, the systems were bad, like some of the systems were bad. So for the first day, everybody was complaining, so I didn't really feel bad. I'm like, okay, I know I read. So just the system that I just spoiled everything because everybody was complaining. So the second day, it said a little bit better. That was the day of maths. I know I read. So when I went for the test, what I read did not come out at all. What I read did not come out. What a shock. What came out was not even in my course outline. Wow. So I was disappointed when I saw my question.
Wait, is it like did it fall from heaven?
I don't even know. Okay. What came out from my own, like my test, because it was like, okay, we had different maths. I'm doing like maybe maths 111, I'm doing maths 115. Okay. So what came out was like similar to maths 115 questions. Okay. And I didn't do that. So I was confused. So when I was writing, I was crying. I'm like, I read for this thing. What I read did not come out. Why? So when I finished my test, I was angry, I was crying. So some people were like, mine was easy. People that didn't even read, were like, it was easy. And that did not even get passed well. So then I was like, it seems like people that are not reading are doing better. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to read again. I didn't read, and the next day I had physics.
Okay, just go on.
I told my roommates I'm not going to read it. Like, just my roommates, some of them were like, okay, just read it now. Since it's not nice, not fair. I'm like, I'm not going to read again. I left it. So there was physics. At least I used to attend classes, so I had some ideas. So when I got to exam, I'm like, something this way. It was actually easy. And I did okay. It's like we had three physics, so I did good in two. Then the remaining one, I didn't really like try. I'm like, so I was regretting. If I had known, I would have read. Okay. It was a bad idea not to read. So I don't know. So I would just advise like, okay, if you have something like that, just try and read. Don't be angry. Next one can be better. So just try and read. Yeah, that's one regret I have.
Okay, so you were emotional about it.
Yeah.
All right. So I think I also had some similar experience. Okay. So maybe later on I could share mine. Okay. But so far, what has been your biggest challenge? You know, some people might be financial challenge. Some people might be, you know, emotional. Some might be even, you know, mental challenge. There are different challenges that occur in school. So far, what has been your challenge? What has been your biggest challenge so far?
Okay. I'll say my biggest challenge is that when I was in secondary school, I usually don't read at night. Like, I don't do that. It's not my
Sorry to cut you. In case you are wondering where you are at, this is the first class. We discuss anything school and academy. Yeah. Alright. So we are discussing our university experience. So you can learn from it and you take something home. Alright, so please continue.
Okay. So like I said before, reading at night is not really my thing. I usually read it like in the day. So when I went to school, I'm like, we leave our hostels by 9 or probably 8, then come back by 6 or maybe 3 if you're not having practicals. But if you're having practicals, come back by 6. When you come back,
what department?
Microbiology.
Okay.
So when you come back, you'll be tired. You have to rest. When you finish like freshen up, rest, eat, you sleep. And when you sleep, like someone like me, I'll just sleep till the next day. But most people do wake up at night. So when I see them sometimes, I'm like, how do you guys do this?
I'm intimidated.
Yeah, how do you guys do this? And I'm having tests. I'm like, no, if I continue like this, it won't work. So I have to come out from my comfort zone, come out and like follow people. Like I just like have a reading partner. Like that's very, very important. Like have a reading partner. Someone you know is like this. Even if the person is not as smart as you, just try teaching the person, but just have a reading partner. So I had a reading partner and I did it. I was surprised, me myself, I was surprised. I would read from maybe 7, I go to the reading room from 7 till 3. And I'm like, wow,
wait,
I can actually do that. Me,
from 7 p.m.
Yes, till 3
a.m.
Yes, sometimes we can just say till 2. We're like, we're having 8 o'clock classes. You just have to go rush back to just like rest for some few hours, then go back.
So what was the effect on the result?
It was nice. Like it came out well. Apart from this math I talked about, the rest came out well. Yeah, it was nice.
So have somebody that you are accountable to.
Yes. Have a reading partner.
Okay, all right. Okay, so that is very great. So I hope you are already enjoying yourself. Okay, and if you want to sponsor this program, you can as well do that. You know, at this point, if you want to just sponsor this program, you know, before you started school, for me, when I started school, I had an expectation. Like maybe I wanted to be a first class student, I wanted to be a second class lower, or second class upper, you know, or maybe there's something that you are just expecting. So what are your expectations?
Okay. My expectation, my number one expectation is to graduate with first class. Like him. Graduate with first class. Okay. That's everybody's dream.
Thank you very much for that wonderful answer. Thank you so much. I believe that they are learning a lot. And trust me, you'll be seeing a lot of this. I'll be hosting a lot of guests. You know, some will be coming from the different part of Nigeria, different schools. They will come and share their experiences. Final year students, you know, 300 level students, they will come. This is just the beginning, and I'm so glad that you are the first. And I will still have you, right? Okay, all right. So I know you have a lot of you have a bunch of questions for me, and I hope I can answer them, right?
Yes.
Okay, so anyone I cannot answer, I will probably call my father. Maybe my father in heaven or my physical biological father to help me out of it. But so right on.
Okay, so my first question will be, so sir, how did you balance fun activities and studies? Yeah, like you say, most people don't want their university life to be boring, like going for school, like read. At least I want to spice it up a little bit.
With what kind of fun are you talking about?
Okay, just normal fun. Some people some people like fun would be like maybe church. Some people's fun would be maybe parties, like kind of outing, more like bad parties, just like normal, maybe normal parties. Yeah. So how did you do that?
It's just like saying that all work without play make Jack a dull boy.
Yeah.
So you want to blend some sort of fun.
Yeah.
Well, for me, I could tell you that for me, it's about balancing between church and school. Because I wasn't that party type. Although we had a beach close by, we could just walk in to the beach, have fun, and do all of that. But for me, church took more of my time rather than any other activity. All right. So I think that if I should answer you how I balance school and church, it will also help you, and I give you an idea of how you could balance your own fun and school. As I told earlier in my previous episode, one of them, if you go back, I told you that know thyself. Now, Remi, the first thing you do when you get into school, the first thing you study, okay, I know this is going to blow your mind. People going to school, they want to read books, they just give their all to books. The first book you study is yourself. Alright. So the first book, you sit down and study yourself. Study who you are, your personality. How are we able to balance? Would you able to balance what and what would you able to balance? All right. Before you venture into, you don't have the time to experiment everything, because you might not come back safe. What I did was that I always have in mind that at every point in time, while I am there in school, my first assignment always rings in my head. So even though I am church, I always remind myself that I am here for school first. So if I'm not taking my routines, my studies, I will not give that time to church. Because why did I leave where I was to where I am right now? It's because of school. All right. But I know that in this season of my life, why I'm here is school. So church, because I cannot tell a story that because of church I feel this. No, that is very, very, God too will punish me, or he will not be happy with me. All right. Yeah. So he knows my heart. He knows that I really want to serve him. But at this point, this is why I left where I was to where I am. So what I did was that I look at the activities that I should do, and I know when I should study. So when I know that this is the time I read, so no matter the church activity I do, I ensure that at that time that I should read or I should study, I don't negotiate it with church or with other activities. So even though you are going to party, even though you are going to do whatever thing, ensure that wherever you are, if you are partying or wherever you are, your mind should be telling you when it is your time for school. You don't negotiate it with that. If not, you have missed your priority. You don't negotiate with that at all. So that is it's simple. It's just that people get to forget why they go where they are. People tend to forget the reasons why that, so they overlap. They overlap activities. But you have to always remind yourself that, hey, I am here because of school. So when you are partying and it is time for your studies, you have to discipline yourself to go back to sleep. If not, you are cheating the core reason why you are there.
That was nice. Okay, I learned a lot from that explanation. Okay, my second question is, how do you I don't know how to do it, but okay, let me just say it. In secondary school, we're relaxed. You just go to class, we're not much. I went to a private school, so we're not much so you could talk to your teacher one-on-one. Anytime you go to class, you can sit and you will hear your teacher. Okay, so in the university, it's not like that. If you don't go early for classes, when you go, you sit at the back. So sometimes you'll be very tired. Okay, peradventure you went late for class. Okay, and you're at the back seat, and people who sit at the back, you can't you won't hear anything. Even with public address, even if the lecturer is using a microphone, you won't hear anything. So and most people at the back, most will be on their phones, playing games, doing things, doing different things, discussing. So as a person that wants to learn, and you are sitting at the back, so what do you do at that time? Like you say, distractions here and there. Even if you're trying to read other moments, people are just talking, video games, different things. So what do you do in that kind of like situation? So how do you like overcome something like that?
All right, so it's very simple. When we started, we are almost in my class. We are almost about 300 plus, and if you go late, you are going to sit at the back. So that day, it's as if your school fees have been wasted.
Yeah,
you can read like
yes.
yeah. So first, if that is the case, the first thing you have to do, you don't have to find yourself at where you are not getting it. So you have to ensure that you come early and sit at where you get. That's the first step.
Yeah.
So but by all things being equal, you try that you end up at the back.
Yeah.
There's no problem with that. There's no big deal with that. Okay, so what you have to do is that when you sit at the back, okay, after the class, that is what I do. After the class, the materials that the teacher used to teach, ensure that you have them. And before that day will go out, before that day will pass, ensure that you revise it. You take a look at it. All right, because at that time your brain is fresh with what he has taught. If you leave it over, if you sleep over it, you will not capture it. So at that time, at least when you are studying it, at that time you have an idea of what he was saying, so you can now capture everything and sleep. You get. So in those kind of situations, ensure that the materials that he used to teach, they are your first target. You have missed the words, you have missed what, because when I got to like 300 to 400 level, I was balancing school and struggles, like hustles. I was hustling a lot, to survive. So sometimes, even though my class, we are even sometimes 10, because evening class, just 10, but my mind was not on the teacher. I was not even learning anything, because my mind is, where would my next Gary come from? All right. So at that time, I know that this is the life. Unlike before when I started, I would be rushing to sit in the front, but now this is my life. I don't have the whole time to focus on that. So I take my personal studies more higher. So I double my personal studies. So I ensure that I gather the materials, and I ask maybe 1 or 2 persons to give me their notes. So if you are not in front, you might not hear everything, you might never see the board, right? So at the end of the day, it's not everybody who will be that. There are some friends of yours who might be in front. So ensure that you take their note, and take the material that the teacher used. Go and balance yourself before the day runs out. So that is what I used to do.
Okay. Okay, that's chill. Okay, so you've already answered parts of the question, the third question I had. Okay, I wanted to just say, like, why I wanted to ask, okay, for some people are not financially stable. Okay, so how do you even for people that are financially stable, but most people are like business oriented, like they like doing something. So how do you how do you balance it, like you learning something or you trying to do have a business and like your studies? How do you balance it?
Okay, well, for me, let me share my experience, because it's from my experience that I can share. Now, when I started, at the point as I was working, I was doing laundry. Yes, I was doing laundry. I would take clothes from my classmates. I would go and wash from people. I would go and wash it, iron it, and bring it back to them. And I also did agency. Like, we go and look for houses with my friends. There are crazy stuff we did. We go and look for houses for my friends, and we tell people that we have rooms for rent. They come and rent. Then before I started doing other hustles. So there were a lot of hustles that I did, legit ones actually. So how did I balance those things? Now, what I am trying to say is that if you know who you are, okay, it is easy to balance yourself. Like for me, no matter how I am hustling, okay, I know my first priority is that I have to be in school. And I know the length in which I can study and comprehend. I just keep my routine. You get. So I know that if I have to study for a day 1 hour, no matter where I'm hustling, no matter what I'm doing, I have to ensure that time is being obeyed. You get. So for example, now you want to be doing you want to be a hairstylist, you want to be plaiting hair and adding to your breakfast or maybe to your upkeep. It is very simple. When somebody comes to you, maybe it depends on they have a class, and the person comes to you at your reading time and whatsoever, you tell the person that, hey, please, I think that we should do this by this time, because you have the control. All right. So you don't, because of the money or because of what you want to gain, suffer your studies, because that is not why you are there. It's your first priority that took you there to study, right? Yeah. So even though I have clothes to iron and to wash, I ensure that at the end of the day, I don't trivialize my study time. So at midnight, when it is my study time, I will struggle to ensure that, because I know that during the daytime I will not have time to study. I will be hustling. I will be doing this stuff. You get. So that is as simple as that. So know yourself, know what you're capable of doing, know the length at which you will study, then ensure that you maintain that ritual. That is just it. Yeah.
Okay. Understood. Yeah. Okay. My next question. I don't. Okay. We say peer pressure is everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is real. Like peer pressure is everywhere. So, if you find yourself like with some kind of people who are like, okay, what they are doing is bad. Yeah, it's bad. But you are still like, okay, for example, they are your roommates. Yeah, what they're doing is bad. And you are not this, okay, you're not this kind of person that you don't want to join them. Yeah, you don't want to join them. And you're always in the room, and when they come back, like, for example, they make noise, do things. That's when you carry your book, that's the time they want to like on their MP3, do some kind of thing, loud music, that kind of things. So how do you cope with that? Like, how would you, if you're in that, like, if you're something like in that kind of like position, like how would you like cope with that?
Okay, so everything still boils down to knowing yourself. Now, I used to have Muslims as a friend. In fact, one of my roommates was a Muslim.
Okay.
So his prayer time is quite different from my own prayer time. You can imagine he'll be praying maybe morning, afternoon, almost 5 times a day. And also, I used to have some friends, in fact, a roommate that smokes. You get, all right. I used to have those kind of people. And upon all of those things, despite all of those things, I still maintain my grade. Now, how did I do that? I know that, for example, if your friends are those people who, when they come and they make noise, when they are not there, what have they been doing?
Okay.
All right, you get. So you time them. You know that when they come by this time, you know the time. You should know. You should study them and know that this is how they are. Okay. So at that time, so you change. You don't. I have told you people before that one of the essence of one of the reasons for going to school is to have an open mind. Is to replace an empty mind with an open mind. All right, it's not to replace an empty mind with a closed mind. No, a closed mind is where is a mind that is biased. You know that this is the way you are. You are just one way. You are closed. Okay, that if you not study by this time, you will kill us. No. You have gotten, you are at a different environment right now with different people. You have to also obey their beliefs. You have to also acknowledge who they are, their personalities. So you change your pattern. So if they are that type that used to do those things, either you have to change where you study. Okay, so you can even play with them at that time that they are playing. You can also try and do like you are with them. But at the end of the day, you know where you go and kill your bear and your animals. When I mean animal, you know where you go and hammer, or where you go and read. You know your ways. Okay, so that is what you should do. So don't confront. If it is something that is outrageously bad, you would want to communicate it. But if it's something you can, as long as it will not devalue, as long as it is not against, you will not do anything that will be against your values. I mean your Christian values or your beliefs. Then you have to ensure that you adjust. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Lastly.
I thought you said I know.
Lastly.
All right.
Okay. If you find yourself in a place that, yes, you're so maybe you got to a point that maybe during exams and something like that. Okay, before exam, you guys do it before exam. I find like they say that everybody is doing this particular thing. Okay, like all school, like they do this all school, like this sorting, like something like sorting. Okay. So if you find yourself in that kind of situation, like everybody's doing this thing, you know that people are doing it. Like how do you like cope with that? Like what should you do like to pass that phase?
Okay, so alright, well, I can relate with this particular question because we got to one particular lecturer. That lecturer, communication, I think is business communication. Yeah, this guy, what he did was that he attached the assignment into the textbook. So you must buy the textbook, because don't buy the textbook, that assignment you automatically you have failed it. You know, and you cannot escape it. You have to buy that book. When they have warned them that they should not sell those things, they see this guy will put his own assignment there. He knows that people like us will not buy, but I will still pass it. Okay. You guys, so that's what I did. Then there was this other, also one other lecturer that one. Hey, so if you don't buy this one book, you go fail. You must fail. You know, you must sort out. These things do happen, but what I maintained was a positive mind. What I maintained was a positive mind. As long as it is against my values, I don't compromise it. All right. So I maintain a positive mindset along the way. So when it gets to that particular person that we're supposed to buy that assignment with this thing, I said I'm not going to buy it. It was at the end of the day, a friend had to, you know, because she was got the money at that time. I was like, why would I use money to buy this book when I can eat like used to eat like 3 days?
Yes.
That particular money, I tell you, me and my friends, we know that we use that money to buy how we call kenke and baku. It's a local food there. I don't know, I can use to buy those food for like 3 days. So why would I buy? So it was with that mindset, you know, with that courage, we got there. And lucky enough for me, a friend of mine bought it for me. Okay. Then also this other lecturer that he said, I didn't buy that book. I didn't buy it, but I went ahead to write it. Okay, because the intention was that if you didn't buy it, no matter how you write it, you will fail it. But I still went and I wrote it. And for me, I take spiritual things first. So before the time, I will sort it out in the spiritual, in my secret place with prayers, to ensure that this obstacle is already taken care of in the spiritual realm before, you know, if you're a spiritual person, you should also do that. Okay, so I used those tricks and I applied it. I went to write it, and at the end of the day, my score, nothing was touched. He gave me my score, everything was complete. All right, and every other tough sortings that we met, people sorted, but I didn't sort, and I still maintained my grade. So what happened? You know, so if this is against your value, if you know that you cannot do it, then you have to stand by it. I know that it might be very, very difficult, but at the end of the day, you'll be surprised. Your greatest fear is also afraid of you. Yeah, your greatest fear is also afraid of you. That you are afraid that if you don't sort, it will this thing. And who knows that thing, once the person is even exposed, the person is in problem. The person is also afraid, or that fear is also afraid of you, or afraid of something else. But you are rather more afraid. That is why you end up sorting out. So you don't have to. For me, I didn't compromise. You don't have to also compromise it. You can stand for it. You can stand. I know people who sorted and they still score lower. In fact, they still score low because sometimes it will blow out that these people were sorted. So they will mark everybody down, and they will know that you didn't sort, because they know by your script that you didn't sort and you know what they write. So at the end of the day, all those people who sorted, you see that they will score low. So stand on your values. If the person want to give you a lower score because of that, don't worry. No problems. You will still hit it. All right.
Okay, so I've learned a lot. Like literally, I've learned like many things, like new things and everything. Okay, so I believe that as I move forward, I'll have more questions.
All right.
Okay, we'll see when we see again.
All right, so Remi, thank you so much for coming. Thank you for joining me in this particular episode. I believe that we are all excited. My family, my online family, everybody is so excited to have, you know. I've also learned from you, you know, because it's quite been a while, like a few years since I left school. So you're new, the things you are facing now. I've also learned some things right now. All right, and those who are aspiring to go to school like you, what do you have to tell them? Do you have anything you want to tell them?
Okay, I would just say, if you're aspiring to go to school, it's a good thing. It's a very, very good thing. So when you go, it's at first, it's stressful. 100 level, they always say 100 level is stressful. But don't get that into your head. Yeah, you stress for sure. You stress, but it's normal. Like, so you just go. Be yourself, do your thing, make sure you read, and don't forget to pray. Always pray, remember God, go to church, and also don't give up. Like, okay, I know I've not like gone far, but I've heard of stories. I've listened to people that, like, in a class of like maybe 100, about 50 will just break down on the way. Don't break down. move on. Just like know that, just have like this determination. Know that okay, this is where I want to be, and focus on that. Work on yourself. Work on that. If you have any challenge, just ask questions, meet people, talk to people. Then that's yeah. You can come to this channel. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. Of course, what she has said is very awesome. In fact, for me to face you like this is because of school. Right, because of school. My story, in fact, as we continue this channel, you're going to hear a lot of my stories, my biggest challenges, and all of that. Yeah. So if you're in school and you are thinking of dropping out, bury that thought. In fact, let's bring APC Broom now. I'm bury that thought. You don't have to, because this is Nigeria. All right, and the world system is, I've told you before in a previous episode, this is the world system. No matter how spiritual you are, the system of the world has been programmed this way that, especially if you are born in this part of the world, which is Nigeria, it's the third part of the world. It's a third world country. So if you are born in this world, for you to navigate your way through life, already life is quite hard, like as if you are navigating against the tides once they give birth to you on this earth. So school is one of the easiest parts for you to navigate through life. I don't want to go over that again. If I go and check that particular video, that I said those things. Now, Remi, I think you're here for your holidays, right?
Yes.
For your break. So, as a student that will go back to school after now, what are your plans for the festive period? Is it a general normal? You don't eat rice and relax and go? Like, what are your plans? What? Because you are no longer the person who used to be when you were not in school. So you coming back from school, spending a little time as holiday is no like the way you spend that time will not be the usual way you have been spending it, right? So what are your plans? What do you have for, or you just come and give me a gift?
Okay, yeah. Okay, this is festive period, as everybody know. Okay, they'll say okay, all work. So you not be reading every time. Yeah, but like program myself. Like me, I programmed myself. I'm like, okay, I have exams after now. I don't want this like Christmas or Christmas like, inside. I don't want it to get inside my head. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll do okay in a day. Maybe I'll just like have in the morning. People that can read in the morning, you can read in the morning. Just try. Even if it's 2 hours, just like read in the morning. But me, I don't read in the morning. Like I don't read in the morning. Like I read at night. It's like I learned it in school. Yeah. So I try my possible best. I know it's very hard. Obstacles everywhere. Your friends, if I'm not seeing you for a long time, come hey, yeah. But still try. Like I said, determination is very important. To know that okay, yeah, this is what I want to do. So try. Carry your book. Even if it's 2 pages a day, just try to open it. And when you get back to school, you can like complete it, round up everything. Yeah. So don't like. I don't want to like. Okay, you said you asked a personal question like so. I plan to like continue reading till I go back to school. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so don't let the system get into your head. Refresh your brain once in a while. Ensure that even the system, even the laptop, anytime I on it, I refresh it. Please hit the subscribe button. Please beg them.
Yeah, subscribe, like and subscribe.
And tell them to share. Tell them to share.
Share to your friends.
Share to your share, please. All right. So the more you do that, the more we bring better content your way. So ensure that you do that. Thank you so much, Ro.
Thank you.
All right. Bye. All right. See you.